Hello, it's me, Dr. Butler. Today's video will discuss cognitive and emotional changes we may experience during the menopausal stages. During menopause, we may experience cognitive shifts like brain fog and memory lapse, along with emotional changes such as mood swings, anxiety, and depression, all driven mainly by hormonal fluctuation. So let's get into why all of these things are going on. So, what are the cognitive changes? The most commonly reported cognitive change and difficulty during the menopausal stages are verbal and working memory, with tasks such as recalling names or recent conversations, attention and concentration, with trouble focusing on or following complex conversation, or just maintaining concentration. Then there is the processing speed. This means that the mental processes may feel slower, causing tasks that used to be quick to take longer to complete. And then lastly, there is the forgetfulness, the subjective complaint of memory lapse, misplacing objects, or even forgetting why you walked into a room. All of these cognitive symptoms are known as brain fog. So what's going on with our brain that's causing all of these cognitive changes? Brain fog is connected to the changing estrogen levels, which help protect and regulate brain function. There are structural changes that occur during menopause. First, there is the reduced gray matter. What is that? What is that? So, gray matter refers to regions of the brain rich in neuron cell bodies. It's responsible for reprocessing information, controlling muscle movement, regulating emotions, and supporting memory and decision making. Key gray matter regions include the frontal cortex, the temporal cortex, and the hippocampus, all vital for cognitive function. The frontal cortex is located at the front of the brain, just behind the forehead, and it acts as the brain CEO. It's responsible for executive function like planning, decision making, attention, and impulse control. It regulates our emotions and our social behavior. It helps us stay focused, organized, and goal oriented. The estrogen role is to enhance dopamine and serotonin signaling by improving mood and focus. It promotes synaptic plasticity, which are the tiny junctions between the nerve cells. It helps the neurons adapt and form new connections. So let's think of it like the muscles to the brain's pathway. And lastly, it regulates energy metabolism and blood flow. It keeps this high demanding region functionally efficiently. Now, the temporal cortex is located on the side of the brain near the temple, and it processes auditory language, auditory information, and emotional memory. Estrogen enhances the synaptic plasticity, which promotes the growth and the remodeling of neutral connections by altering the neurotransmitter signaling, specifically the serotonin, the dopamine, and the acetylcholine. These chemicals affect our mood, our memory, and our attention. It reduces inflammation and oxidative stress by helping keeping the cells healthy. And lastly, it improves blood flow and energy metabolism. Then there is the hippocampus, which is located within the temporal lobe and is responsible for the brain's memory. The role estrogen plays is that it protects and promotes the synaptic plasticity. It encourages the birth of new neurons in the Dante gyrus. Now, the Dante gyrus acts as a gateway for incoming information, and it decides which information is important to store. It regulates the serotonin and the dopamine, and it protects against inflammation, oxidative stress, and finally, it enhances glucose metabolism. So now that we've seen a snapshot of the brain structure changes, let's get into the emotional changes. So the emotional changes such as mood swings, irritability, anger, anxiety, and depression, and loss of confidence are all associated with the reduced estrogen and progesterone levels during the menopausal stages. It is reported that 23% of women in the menopausal stages will have some mood swings. So what's going on? When we transition into the menopausal stages, the ovaries becomes less responsive and their output of estrogen and progesterone becomes erratic. These hormone levels, they don't just decline smoothly. They often surge and then they drop unpredictably day to day, month to month. This is why it is hard to determine perimenopausal through labs because our hormone levels are going up and down, up and down. So depending on when you take them, it may look as they're normal. Depending on, later on in the day, they may drop and showing that you're in menopause. So that's one of the challenges. So estrogen controls the dopamine, the serotonin, and the brain activity, which influences mood. So when the levels are all over the place, our mood is all over the place. Mood swings will have you happy one minute and crying the next. So now let's get into the irritability. This is where there is a decrease of tolerance for stress, noise, and other people's actions, which can lead to irritability, frustration, and in some cases, feeling rage and out of character. Let me tell you, because I'm quick to say, hush up all that noise. Irritability is a state of low temporal control that leads to angry words and actions. During the menopausal stages, nearly 70% of women will experience increased irritability, which can impact physical and psychological health, impair daily function, particularly at home. But why? Our emotional reactivity, impulse control, memory, and stress regulation have estrogen receptors. When our estrogen declines, these brain chemicals become less stable, making it hard to regulate emotions. This can cause symptoms such as anger, anxiety, depression, and loss of confidence. Should we be concerned? Well, there have been extreme cases by severe cognitive decline that is defined as dementia. Unfortunately, women are at a higher risk of dementia, particularly Alzheimer's disease. Developing research suggests that menopause and significant decrease in estrogen may play a key role. In fact, two-thirds of Alzheimer's patients are women. Alzheimer's is often thought of as an age-related disease, but new findings suggest that hormonal shifts during the menopausal stages may be a key factor in women's long-term brain health. Hormonal imbalances can place a huge strain on intimate relationships, particularly when the partners are unaware of the psychological effects. The combination of mood swings, sleep deprivation, emotional dysregulation, and loss of libido can often lead to relationships breaking down, increasing conflict, sometimes even domestic incidents. Despite the growing awareness of women's health, hormonal conditions remain poorly understood in mental health and legal settings. Many women who experience hormone related anxiety, mood disorder, or cognitive issues are often misdiagnosed with borderline personality disorder because of their emotional instability and mood swings. They have also been incorrectly diagnosed with bipolar disorder due to episodes of heightened irritability and then followed by depressive states. Additionally, they may receive women may receive diagnosis of depression or anxiety disorders without even acknowledging the underlying hormonal causes. So, as we can see, many things occur when we transition into menopause. To support cognitive and emotional changes during the menopausal stages, we can combine lifestyle strategies, home therapy, and mental health support to stabilize our mood, improve our memory, and reduce stress. So, a list of lifetime intervention includes exercise to boost the serotonins and the dopamines and the endorphins. Then in nutrition, we got to make sure that we're eating omega 3s, leafy greens, and antioxidant rich food to support brain health. Lastly, sleep hygiene. We have to have a consistent sleep routine. We need to be in cool environments, and you gotta limit your caffeine and alcohol to reduce the emotional explosiveness. For mindful and mental support, there's cognitive behavior therapy, which help reframe negative thoughts and improve our emotional regulation. We can do meditation, we can do yoga, rhythmic breathing to help reduce anxiety and improve focus. There's creative outlets such as art, journaling, or music, which can restore our sense of identity and achievement. Lastly, hormone replacement is an option for some. The cognitive and emotional changes can have us feeling like we're losing our minds, but we aren't, and people just aren't talking about it. But I'm here to say you're not alone, and there is relief that I have identified. As an exercise scientist, my goal is to help by offering resistance training to preserve bone density and lean mass, to help with cardiovascular conditioning, to support heart health, provide mobility and balance work to help reduce the risk of falling, and lastly, assist with nutrition strategies tailored to hormonal shifts and metabolic changes. I am located in San Antonio, but I'm here virtually as well to help you navigate these changes. Thanks for listening, and next week we'll discuss supplements and diets. See you then. Bye bye.